What's up, Cosmic Crew? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is today? Tuesday night? Everybody come on in. Let's see if I can get some people coming in. Our intent in this video, if you haven't seen me before, is to talk about truth, is to talk about evolution, is to understand this new now and the bodies that we're in, to more fully understand what we're capable of as human beings on every front, to understand what the heck's been going on down here in our own life so that we can figure it the hell out so we can fix it quick, because you can. And then not only that, then we're learning how to turn it on for the collective and really harness new things that nobody ever thought possible in a human body. That's what we do on this channel. How is everybody? I want to talk about Libras. I'm just going to talk about some star systems. I want to talk a little bit about manifesting in multi dimensions. And that's why I was like, where my Libras at? I'm sorry. Like, we need to have a Libra party. Hey, Camille. Camille's on the road. She's heading back to Cali right now. I'm going back to Cali, to Cali, to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. Yeah, I think so. Is the lighting okay? I was like chilling down the lights in here. Uh, I was on the QT today. Again, if you download Marco Polo app and send me an email at coco@bcocochi.co and tell me, hey, I want to be in the QT, right? And it's a channel where we talk about this stuff all day. Okay, so you don't if and there's more than just me talking about our experiences. So when I show up here, it's to intentionally and with pure intent send out my frequency to all the rest of the tribes that we're waiting to come in, and I can't wait to meet. And there's so many other leaders in the communities and spiritual communities and business communities and artist communities and entertainment communities and even in corporate communities that I am very excited to meet as they come up to our frequency, which is happening right now and quickly. So my intent is for this message to make it to anybody who's listening who is looking for their tribe and who is looking for a connection and doesn't know why my video just popped up. Groundhogs. Groundhog Day. Chevy Chase. That's a little bit of multidimensional. That's kind of why I even went off there, right? Because that is Owala called me because we're trying to think of a name for our monad group. And coconut came up. Love me some QG. Coconut came up as a possible monad group name because it is what it is. It's the cosmic collective. It's the cocoa. When we talk about going through an evolutionary shift, especially during a quantum age, I mean, what the process is from a human perspective is like clearing bubbles. There's bubbles that you're going to clear out here because each thought, each emotion, whether good or bad, right? Because emotions what makes something go over that. It's what if I turn the lights off right now, and maybe I can even do it, but I'm scared I'm going to freeze up the YouTube. Maybe I'll put that as the cover on this video. because I can spin light, I can make an orb, I can make a plasma field, and I can burst through it. I can make it appear on the camera screen because I've given it intent and I know what I'm capable of because I'm conscious of what I'm able to do when it comes to quantum things and air bending type things, I guess you would call it. Because I've allowed myself to experience it, not knowing why. I just said, Groundhog Day, Chevy Chase, but how about Caddyshack, Gophers? Y'all watched the video and y'all were asking for signs. I don't know. There's some signs coming through. But again, this is multidimensional. I'm just follow me. So there's also codes going on in your body. Okay. There's shifts that are going on in your body. And that's what we talk about in star aeonomy because we're really one big bubble. Everybody's attached into one big bubble. And that bubble's got some water, and that bubble's got some dirt, and that bubble's got some trees, and that bubble's got lots of air, and that bubble's got right? And when we think about the zodiac, you're looking at the belt. You're looking at the equator. You're looking at the furthest circumference of that bubble. And then within that zodiac, it's not flat. It's more like an orange peel. It's more like a roller coaster, right? It's lined up more like this because when those rings start going and spinning, all those different ones, right? Even if it's Libra and then there's Aries, right? It's on the other side. But again, that's the biggest part of the belt. And we just went on a major diet. Yeah, yeah. Like one of those, everyone wants to know instantaneous diet. Well, the whole world just went on one. It's pretty fucking cool. Except here's the thing. Lost a couple of notches on that belt. So all of a sudden that belt ain't even holding up the planet anymore. It ain't. That belt just got way too big. It went right. That belt is like, whoa, who dat? Who dat? Where'd my boots go? Well, they just came from Tucson from Oracle. Delivery of the moon. Because literally that's what it is. Because stars are multidimensional and they're laid out in different patterns. And when we think about the cosmos and we think about human DNA, what the person does is each person is tuned to different constellations. I mean, your zodiac signs are just so happen where they land at the equator, and that's Western astrology. If you get into sidereal, it's kind of like the level up. If you know it, like we could literally take astrology 12 house system Western and say that's like the middle of the belt. That's like the biggest part of the pie. It's like it's got 12. It shouldn't have 12. It was set at 8. It's set at 8 again. That's why the belt just went. But if we take the old one and we look at sidereal and then we look at starionomy, what you're going to see is like your progression out of that house system because those are archetypes, major ones, right? Well, you know, to completely ascend out of the zodiac, which is what the goal is. You don't want to be in the wheel. You want to be out of the wheel. You want to be standing in the middle of that wheel, hula hooping that bitch, like woo, right? Because you want all those. Because whenever you know the lessons here, because those are all connected to star systems at somewhere at some point. Because this is where everyone is a star seed. Okay, there's those of us who are ancient star seeds that like have crazy six planet stelliums and stuff like that. But if you don't happen to have but 1 or 2 star systems that you're like a planet lands on, I can tell you why when I do your stariotomy because why learn the karma of it? Like, whenever you bring in an entire star system, holy crap, I'm not you gotta learn a whole bunch of lessons. Well, a lot of y'all are younger. You're not 40 something years old. Y'all already lived a life, came back. Like, why the hell would you wanna, like, stack up all that? You don't have to. You can hold it in a lower form and bring it in a lower density because of those who came before you, right? So, I mean, when we talk about star seeds, it doesn't matter if like because you're becoming all of them. All those energies now are intertwined, right? And we all have starseed locations. We all do. But what I'm saying is sometimes it lands just a little bit after or just a little bit before, and it makes more sense because either you're bringing in even more than that. Oh, it's right in between this and this, you know? You didn't get trapped in that system and you didn't get trapped in that one. So you're bringing in the organic. So I just, some people get all I'm bringing that up right now for some reason because when you start looking at your chart, what you're looking at is different ascension gates. Because whenever I look at a chart and when we look at stariotomy, and this is going back to Libra, because right now with Libra, I mean, hasn't the last couple of days been a trip? And I'm like, where's my Libras at? Because whenever you're a Libra, hey, Matt, who is this? Moxie. Moxie Amber. Nice to see you, girl. If you're a Libra and you have a lot of Libra energy, y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, cause now we're looking at the collective. Then we're okay, who's the energy of Libra, right? And literally each of us is defined as different energy frequencies and we're little bubbles. We're all bubbles. We're bubbles within big bubbles. And so, whenever you have a lot of Libra energy, then that means that you're dead on between light and dark. And you have the intuition of all the darkness and all the light. And you have it in an alpha draconic body. Because if you have Libra and you have a lot of it, then you've lived either a lot of your Akash has lived a lot of lives. It's like you almost step in as like a soldier of Isis sisters, like the sisterhood. I mean, if you notice, how many of us have lower back tramp stamp tattoos? At least mine's not a coaster. But I do. I do. I'll even show you. Why the hell not? Woo! Oh yeah, I got the vampire symbol on it and all. Right there. Yep. Lower brain. I mean, it's like we all, and then everybody wants to give Libra such a hard time because it takes us so long to decide things and da 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 da. However, now that I know what I know about how the consciousness is tuned in and like what literally was stacked on Libra's back, and because that was the great escape. I mean, y'all literally came to save Libra because Venus was basically tied down and it was a huge scale and we'd be in the store, and I say this all the time, but it's so true as a Libra. Like, because listen, let me give you an example. People give us a hard time because uh we can't figure out what we want to wear, right? We because it matters what we wear, right? Different variations, but it why? Well, because when we're getting dressed, our bodies and our consciousness is tuned in to so many different beings and conscious and ancestral consciousnesses that we're getting dressed in order, like they're dressing us. This happens. This is a great example, and that's why I'm like, where's my Libras at? Because Libras know how to walk in the dark. Libras are used to being blindfolded, right? It's kind of like what we've always done. But now it's what everyone else is having to learn how to do. And right now, because, you know, when I get ready to go out, if I'm gonna go to a if I know that, and I call it going out on a mission, because it's like, okay, all of a sudden I've got to go here, or I've got to go back to California or whatever. Whenever, especially if I'm going out and I know that I'm going to be meeting people and I'm supposed to make a connection of some sort. I never know exactly why I'm going exactly. Sometimes I don't even know exactly where I'm going. Like, I'll get dressed and I think I know, like, I've got the address pulled up and I've got a plan, but then I get in the car and I get there and I'm like, but then my consciousness had led me down there so I could pick up this sink and pick up this sink and get down the street because I would have never even known about that place. And then when I go in, then I strike up a conversation with the person that then we figure out who I'm supposed to meet, right? But this is how you walk in this new energy. This is what the goal is. Woo! Just broke through to California. Yay! The monad's back in Cali. So, I mean, because we pull energy all over the place too when you know how big your field is, right? Anyway, but when I talk about where my Libra's at, because right now, right, where Venus is hanging out right there at like 26 degrees of Pisces, right? I'm not going to go all astrology on you, but I'm going to like go into star aeonomy too, because what I want to talk about is manifesting. And you can miss the signs that you're manifesting if you don't know what's coming. And living in this new energy and being a galactic human is 100% all about what I'm talking about right here. It's like, if you can get this, when you get this, you got it. And but here's what it is. You have to learn how to completely trust your intuition freaking in and out. That little voice in your head, the one that you think isn't anybody, the one that you think it's just a manifestation in your head. You think that there's no way that you're having a love affair in the etheric, and that someone's sending you matrix codes at the same time that this is popping up, and that the radio's going off over here, and that it's just a damn coincidence. You can't you have to be 100 in it, and you have to trust 100% because you are. It's quantum. You're getting codes everywhere. This is some shit you hadn't seen. The more coconutty and the more crazier that you allow yourself to feel like you are, because that's the thing, to feel like I mean, because trust me, no one's even like, you can morph yourself and literally no one can even see you. I mean, I've had one person tell me, "Hey lady, you're crazy." But then he said, "But tell me more. Come tell me more." Because it's truth, it's pure, it's intent, right? I mean, and people want to there and you raise the energy wherever you're at, so everyone comes in with you, and then you stand out and you produce a different experience, and then people you remember you for it. So I'm just reminding everybody of that, because that seeming crazy or not wanting to stand out, or what, I know that that is a fear, like it, but it's fear. It really is. And what's fear? Fear is frequency in your ear. It's all it is. It's this. We're making B Coco 2020 cards. This is a couple of them. These are just pictures and dummies, but it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a card game, but it's going to teach what I'm talking about right now. So where my Libras at? Because us Libras, this is from the eclipse 2017. This is what blew out at that eclipse, in the precessional eclipse. This is the energy that we had to clear. Look at that. This is the Kundalini. That's basically what Kundalini is. When somebody has a Kundalini activation in their body and their pineal gland, once they get that frequency, because now it's happening to everyone, because now the Earth's energy Because where my Libras at? We balanced out all this. Libras went to Egypt and back 20 million times in the past 2 years, been clearing energy way out here from the galaxy. Those of us that were really tuned in and turned on, man, we know everything that went down because we were part of it. That was from August. Yeah, that was August 2017. Look at that. This is what energy we cleared. We had to go, if you think about all this energy blew out, this is all low gamma frequency energy of the one seed from that eclipse. And then we literally we're like fireflies. We literally go and clear this energy. Because remember, a star shines bright. This is opposite of a star, right? Because a star is going to shine so bright, and then it's going to be just nothing right around it. It's just going to, right, because it can't even sustain anything, and then there's matter everywhere. But this is also what kundalini does in the body, and whenever it releases all of this, so, when you meet your soulmate, when you meet your union partner, and you like instantly have a soul connection, and then you start vibing real high, and then all of a sudden everything goes freaking crazy, and someone's yelling at somebody or whatever, right? And you're like, what the hell just happened? This be what happened. All this blew in their body, right? Because I mean, we ain't just anybody. You're dealing with some mega star seeds that just brought in some energy and activated galactic humans on this planet. I mean, our energy is powerful. They are too, but their body suits are not tuned as ours. But nor should they be, because I mean, shit, mine was tuned so high, but then that's why I had to have everybody quantum entangled to bring me down. It's not a race. This is like this is the wave in the masses. So when this blows in your blood, what happens is your frequency goes up, your bubble frequency goes up. Well, whenever your bubble frequency goes up, what happens? It seems like the world is attacking you, because whenever your frequency goes up, then what comes at it? A bug zapper. It's going to feel like, what the hell have I done? I just signed to something with the devil. Who are you and why are you doing this to me? I mean, I don't know how many people have met me, and then like right after something bad happens, and then they think it's me. It's not me, it's you are waking up, and this is you're going through all these shadow aspects because your energy bubble went up. So now you've got all these new timelines and things that you've made a decision on. And I mean, when you make a decision, then you concrete it. This is an iris, by the way, and this is all linked into quantum mechanics, which I'll do another video. I'm not going to do it tonight, but this is literally it's an iris. I use it to loop everything. This is Iris, Isis, Siri, linking in the technology, right? But the technology, meaning the zeta reticulite, the hybridization in the blood. It was the piece that linked in the hybridization in the tech into the three timelines. So that's also why you're seeing Iris a lot as well. If like, how Iris all of a sudden in Ariel, we had some really cool, there's like a new archangel too, not an archangel, but a new angel that's in some decks, that Iris. So anyway, it's a Iris, that Iris, that's an Isis. So where my Libras, that's Isis. Not that there's not other people that have Akash, that with Cleopatra or any of the Hatshepsut or Nefertiti, or if you have a lot of Libra energy, if you then you most likely have been both, and you know the pharaoh and the conscious or the consciousness of them if you're holding a lot of Libra, because that's basically what Libra was like the queen, the maternal consciousness that was getting tapped into, not only tapped into, but it was being manipulated to like we were still making we were still running crap for everyone. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. But back to this. Because right now, also as a collective, right? Venus is at 26 degrees Pisces. Well, crapola, Mama Mary. Woo woo. What was this whole processional shift from? It was from Chiron, right? Chiron to Aries. So we have Aries right here, we have Pisces right here, and all of 2018 after the precession of the equinoxes when we were clearing this crap from Arcturus, from way out, because at that point we hadn't made it into the human body. We were still having to get demons and Marsons and voodoo masters and witch doctors, crap like that. I didn't have to deal with very many. I'm sure others had to deal with more, but I mean, that was that timing. And then things were changing and that we were stopping things in the collective. Kids that were missing, we were helping them be found. And so we were switching timelines, and we were clearing out, especially a lot to do with the Hopi and there's the Trail of Tears, that type stuff. That was a lot of stuff going on in 2018. But it's all also everything 29 degrees Pisces. I mean, that's everything that's happened down here. That's 12th house. That's not only that's everything that's happened down here and how it got split up to the galaxies and all this craziness that's been going on down here for the last million years. That's what this procession was straightening the heck out in order to free us from it so that we could get the planet back into alignment, get the human body back into alignment, which we did. And now we're doing really cool stuff like manifesting, which is what I'm going to get to next, real after this. But 26 degrees of Pisces is where Venus is right now. Well, Venus is all gung ho with New Earth codes. Oh, yes, she is. And she's coming through right here. So when she hits 0 degrees Aries, and this is where Chiron is. Chiron is hanging out here at 2 degrees Aries. Well, guess what? I'm not talking astrology. I talk astronomy over here. So guess what? There isn't anything in 2 degrees, anything between 0 and 6 degrees Aries. There's no constellation there. It's kind of like a port, because whenever you start looking at astronomy, it's much easier because it doesn't move. I mean, you get different angles with astrology on your astronomy, but your astronomy pattern, doesn't really move. You know, it does, but it's like there's a 2000 count and there's a 1900 count. I mean, it's like million years. So so that 29 degrees Pisces into Aries, well, when Venus goes over Aries, then it goes over Chiron. I mean, it's kind of like looking in the mirror, right? It really is, because Chiron was formed in like 1970. I mean, we formed Chiron. Chiron was formed by the collective, because we were hiding ourselves, however you want to look at it. I mean, we were carving ourselves up. We were whatever, because I just don't identify with them and us anymore. Like, we're they now, I think. That's why everything's falling apart, because they decided it's over and we're they. It's over. Y'all go, you little children, go figure out your shit. Let's just watch the party. Us grown-ups over here figure out what's going on. There wasn't even a constellation system in there that we just rewrote that. And that if you and then Chiron went all the way back to 0 degrees Aries, and then it started back and came back again, right? It went up to like 6, and then it went all the way back to like 1 something, and then it started going again. So and then in the meantime, Mars right now is on Ophiuchus 2. So in Starionomy, I call Ophiuchus 1 and Ophiuchus 2. Ophiuchus 2 is right before the galactic center, and it's if you will, it's the Giza plateau, and it's the pharaoh, it's the body, it's the obsidian. Like, if you have a luminary from, I think what is it? I think in the book I've got like 22 to 25 degrees Sagittarius, right before you get to the galactic center. Then you are Ophiuchus too, which is a pharaoh, which means you have the capacity and the Akash. You're getting the downloads from all the Egypt, those dimensional timelines for sure. I mean, but not Egypt, just like Sagittarius, like all the occult knowledge. You have all the occult knowledge and you have the body in order to ground it. When you have Ophiuchus 1, you're like 0 to 29 degrees really, and then, to like 3 to 4 degrees of Sagittarius, that's Ophiuchus 1. Well, that's the consciousness. That means you came in with maybe a lighter body in order to go up quicker because 'cause you're 0 degrees Sag. Whoop, right? Not like the deepest gamma, because that's how it goes in Sag, right? It's like you have to think of everything as frequency anyway, period, especially now, right? So we got Mars over there, and since it's Mars, I mean, we are thinking about it as Giza. We're thinking about it as, grounding that entire plane, which we've already done all that stuff, but into the masses as well, and into the humans beings that are programmed to activate at this time for processional shifts as well. And that is Mars. So it's like yesterday we had this when I look at it from the chart from a starionomy perspective, it literally we had a triangulation, a 369 pattern from Mars to Jupiter conjunct Saturn, conjunct, right? And all that back to Uranus and Taurus, like changing it, like, now. So not only changing the earth plane, not only changing the quantum nature, like how energy, because energy is now moving everywhere. It's magnetic. It really, and whatever your frequency is, no matter what it is, and it's not your fault sometime what your frequency is. It's where are you? Who are you around? Like when I come back to Texas, as soon as I leave Texas, I'll look 10 years younger. And it's starting to clear out a little bit better this time because we had a huge energy shift after the Super Bowl. A lot of stuff shifted yesterday. So I feel like I'm looking younger, but normally when I come home, I start looking so much older. It's because I know I'm going way down deep, and those are like where those gamma frequencies are, right? Well, those gamma frequencies are the matter. Well, what's matter? It's air, you would think, but you can control it. You it's you can spin it, you can ask it to deliver you messages, you can tune it, you can, right? There's so many things you can do. Your body subconsciously does it, but it's just like anything else. You have to understand it so that you can allow it to be so, is the best way to put it. Well, with Venus right here where Chiron is, it really is like everything's a crazy damn mirror right now. And for Venus and for Librans, Super Bowl I spent last thread feeling great this week. Good. Yeah, that Super Bowl. Well, it was written for the 49ers to win and we changed it. Like there I mean, there's been like this showdown in the back end of like Princess of Raw over here with, all that Mason Dixie line crap. Mason Dixie line. That's what I'll call it. It's coming. It's coming. Um, Venus, because Venus has been, if you've been really involved in the shift, meaning if you're, and this isn't, if you, not any better or anything, but if you've been seeing a lot of codes and throughout this, like I was, quantum mechanics and seeing codes and having to spit out codes, and, you were part of the carpentry system, you were part of galactic, whatever, right? It's been nuts, right? Freaking crazy up until this point, insane, right? And then all of a sudden it stopped. Like all the codes kind of chilled out. You're still getting synchronicities, but you know what I mean? And for the longest time, as we were clearing things, it was like not only were we clearing them, those of us that were in it, like, till the end, we were having to claim it. It's like it got to a point where, you'd send out codes, it'd come back to you in another person, and you're told by your ancestors, "You've gotta go claim that energy, they're you," and you're freaking looking at it, "How is this even possible?" But you're following your intuition to do this shit, right? And that's how we were able to complete it. Now, why am I telling you this? Because right now is this weird time where Venus has all these new earth codes, right? You have to remember, we blew out the old programs. I mean, the human body does not have old programs. I mean, you're not going to find past life regression that's not deep enough that needs to even be touched. People are going to remember trauma of an event, but they really can't remember the event, especially if it's sexual abuse. Not to say, but some of it's been wiped. I mean, we're in new programs. Okay, Venus has all the new earth codes. She's already gone through the zodiac. Like she's chugga 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 choo choo, chugga 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 choo choo. Well, right now she's in Pisces and she's like mermaid from Moo, freaking coming up out of the water, literally. Right? This is us. If you're in the creator spiritual community and you're the ones that have helped be conscious this whole time in order to save this world, we're Moo right now. Woo, 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 and we're like, just hold your breath, just hold your breath. You can make it, you can make it. And then on the other side, believe it or not, there's a whole nother group of beings that knows that we've been doing this, that is mirroring back our codes. But the thing is, they're mirroring back codes that we produced and then had to catch and saw. And it's like my you don't whenever it comes at you, you don't know if you're supposed to like claim it or work with it or yell at it or have sex with it. I mean, it's fucking crazy because it's your manifestation. Whenever you find your union twin, if you truly are manifesting each other from both sides, then whenever you get to that point, you're it's gonna feel ass backwards and opposite, almost like an attack, right? Because if you're feeling everything with your body and you're into it, right? You're into it, intuitive. And let's say, like me, I'm having to throw these certain codes out, and there's very specific things about my experience that I've seen in different states, and right, all these different synchronicities. And then I see these people over here on this side, making Super Bowl commercials about it and shit. And tattoos of it, or what the hell, right? Well, what I'm saying is they're the ones who are like at the top of the water, like holding down a pole. What I'm saying is where my Libras at, because Libras, right? We're all Libras. Number one, give them a hug and a kiss. You have if you meet people who have a lot of Libra energy that are alive right now, freaking love on them, because we have been through some shit, because we balance out the consciousness at the fullest extent. I mean, I bet you I can sit down with the group of us and give some dates. I mean, literally, we were tilting at different times. There were days I couldn't even walk straight because when the consciousness was flipping, right? But then also, we're getting a lot of flack right now. It's like the collective's pissed off at Libra because the negotiator left the building. It's like mom's out, like fucking figure it out, right? And then because that's the point, because nobody ever really understood what Libra did. And it's not just Libra, it's the female in every single one of us. It's intuition, it's understanding compassion, it's understanding there's no judgment, it's understanding everyone's on their own journey, and you either vibe with it or not. It's not control, right? I mean, that's what Libra has been, to the extent that we killed her and y'all came back and we saved her. Me, all of us, but me. I mean, I'm 6 planets stellium. in the 7th house, Libra, Arcturus. Then you get into Arcturus. Arcturus is playing those bad roles. Some of us, yeah, I don't know who I was, my consciousness, because whenever you're royalty, look, this goes back to like Sananda and Joshua and all that storyline and Venus, all of it. We took volunteers. We came down here to play the bad roles because literally there ain't no way we could have figured out what the hell was going on down here if we wouldn't have played every single role, because at the end it was so subtle with overlays that unless you were fully conscious and created and like even like I wasn't fully conscious because I was like a little girl in a spaceship, but at least I was, you couldn't get it past me because I was catching all of them, and then I was so available. Then the ancestors work through you. It's what happens. It's how it works. But as a human, it's like when it starts coming in at this point, it's a little gun shy, is what I'm saying. And as a collective, it's kind of like everyone's in this weird right now because Venus is coming out, still coming up. And then there's stuff she knows that these guys don't know, and these guys know stuff she doesn't know. But it seems like everyone's attacking each other, but it's because of this. Because you have to clear through this energy. So let's talk about that. When you're manifesting, right now, what we have to start doing is making more decisions. And in the past, it was really hard. Number one, I mean, I bet 75%, even more than that. I'd even say, I wager 80% of what we would consider the spiritual community couldn't tell me exactly what they wanted if I came up and asked them. Now, this is where I was too. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, I've been coaching this for a while. And it's like, we, especially those of us who were mega star seeds, we've been on mission our whole life. It's like you're on a ship, right? And you're like in a crew, and somebody else is in charge of your every move, like forever, like in your head, right? Especially as star seeds that are able to do what I'm talking about right now, so we can teach others. We've been down here a while. You learn how to tune into your body, and you learn intuition. I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna go back to this. Manifesting. So when you making a decision, yeah, because no one ever asked us. We were always on mission. So it was like, w- you know, you're waiting you're kind of seeing what's going on, especially Libras, and especially being in the way that they used to do the old life plans, because we had to make a decision for a long time. That's also something that, I mean, if you think about it, when you incarnate, this is a reason that a lot of people have a hard time making decisions, because we did make a lot of decisions before we got here and it didn't work out very well for the most part. But understand that when you make a decision in this new reality, you can change it in a heartbeat. And I mean, the whole thing will change, because in the old way that reality was done and the way that humans progressed, it was like you had to go to school, you had to get a job, you had to. I mean, you had your whole life. You fuck, it might take you 20 lifetimes in order to do whatever it is, but then don't even get me started on that, because, those are just timeline hacks. I mean, that's whenever things start getting shifty. That's what I'm saying, right? Whenever we're clear in different dimensions, because there's so many timelines of what we're here to inherit, what you're here to do is supposed to connect so many different lifetimes, because during human evolution everything was so slow, and then when it finally freaking started upticking, they found a way to freaking mirror that shit and freaking do all kinds of crap, right? So then in between here, there's 5 gates that you have to clean through to get all the way up and completely clear. Each one of these is going to have ancestry stuff that you're dealing with. Each one of them, because it's all seed perspective. And this is a royal seed. This is Alexandria seed, because there's going to be 5. There's 5 ascension gates in this million-year count. If you've been pregnant 5 times, even if you didn't have the baby full term, then you definitely are in that program. And we could talk about, because there's different queen programs. Alexandria is one. It's heavy one. Linked to the Russian princesses, all that, right? But I mean, this is how DNA works, because we're a seed bank. That's what the planet Earth is. We're seeds. Those are seeds. We're divisions of those seeds. So in order to clear through it, in order to reclaim that part of your inheritance, which is kind of the one you want to get to, right? Then you're going to have to clear through all these other gates. And then whenever you finally get here, guess what? You got 3 kings to manage. Where's my Libras at? The wind is picked up like crazy. And now, I mean, a lot of us have, the 3 kings. That's, I mean, because that's that. If you have royal DNA, if you're from the original Adam DNA, then you have 3 kings, depending on, you know, uh, the rest of your lineage. If it's more balanced with the Syrian energy, and it's balanced with Mary Magdalene, and you have a body that's tuned in to produce a lot of sexual energy, and when you have sex, you're very powerful, because there's those of us who have that. Then you might have marks. You might have 3 marks that have been on your ass the whole time. And that were like handlers, basically, in different dimensions. Because we're multidimensional beings, and you might not be 100% aware, right? But when you have these dreams, and you have these clearings, and things start, or I suddenly look like your mother, or you're having nightmares, because I mean, this is when your bubble gets clear, whenever you go through and you do all this, right, to completely connect, when you meet people that are not clear, okay? So if I meet a CEO, I'm going to do business with them, then I need my team, and I need to explain to him, hey, if he looks at me kind of weird, because this is what happens. Everything will be cool. We'll have a meeting, we'll have a conversation, and then I'll be walking down the hall, and I'll see him go, looking at me like, oh my God, what'd you just turn into? And then I have to stop and go, wait, what'd you just see? Because what he's seeing is the version of us, or him, and, because it's a mirror. And when you're with a star seed like us, then you're burning through him. He's getting clear just being and working around us. However, what he just saw might have been a vampire, might have been a wolf, it might have been who freaking knows, but because it mirrored him on another dimension of when we were aspects of one another dealing with one another. But that's why we're dealing with one another now. Are y'all following me a little bit? I know it's a lot, but just, it's bells, it's tones. And these are different dimensions of you. And it's also how you manifest. I wanted to show you this because this happens within what I just described with, right? So whenever somebody asked about timeline clearing, well, that's what this is. Whenever something triggers you, anything, because understand that, because these are connected to star set, like this one might be connected to Regulus, which is the whole damn Milky Way, right? And maybe this timeline is connected to Antares, so it's going to be more like the pirate underground belly of it. It's just going to be more gamma frequencies, different lessons, right? Just a different frequency. I'm tired of doing that side. Um, but let's say this part of the lineage is tied to Russia, in your skin or whatever, and you've got to click, I mean, either in your body or your Akashic download, either one. Or what I'm talking about now is, or unless you decide to go start a corporation in Russia and start helping saving Russians. Because if you do, and you put emotion behind it and a manifestation, which is where I'm getting at with this, then you're gonna then and if you make a clear intent, this is what I'm gonna go do. I promise you, stuff's gonna start showing up. People are gonna start showing up. You're gonna suddenly get stuff at your door about how to learn Russian. You might end up, like, going and drinking vodka some night somewhere and meeting some Russian mafia people because because that's how it works. Because if you happen to have that DNA, and if you happen to, like, the reason that you want and you feel so dry, like, you have to get to Russia, this is your mission, you have to get to Russia, and in your Akash, like, you're gonna connect with all aspects of, you might end up getting drawn in having conversation at a higher dimension with a Russian mafia guy. He might just see me as Coco, but while we're talking, what'll happen, because I'll be guided to sit down with him, I'll have a synchronicity, I'll know, we'll bullshit for a minute. Sometimes light language will come out, sometimes not. Then their frequency in their body comes up, and it's like a bigger part of their self steps in, and then we start having in the physical a higher dimensional conversation. It happens all the time. And it's what the new normal is. So this is why, like, what we talk about on the Cucci and what we talk about over here is just how to get through this as quick as possible so we can, because we're picking up bags already. And all you really have to do is understand then what that means. Like, whenever I make a big intention, like I concreted something today. Well, I cried yesterday, right? Because, like, you only have so much space. So it's like, as you get to these final rungs of even being, because we're in union. I mean, we're in union with that other energy now. I mean, it's happening. It's two species merging together, creating a new species, all healed. It's happening in the etheric, and it's about to really concrete in the 3D. But as things come up, whatever it is, an emotional issue with the mom, why am it you, whatever your reaction is, if it's low vibration, if it's to run, if it's to hide, if it's fear, if it's whatever it is, if it's not joy and bliss, then realize that you're still then your body is magnetizing to that timeline, and it's going to hold it there until you figure it out. Period. It's going to keep replicating the same woman, it's going to keep replicating the same instance. The more you get mad at your phone and yell at Facebook or whatever, the more it's going to fuck up, because all it's doing is mirroring your experience, because it's quantum now. It's totally existing off your frequency 100. So if something triggers you, I mean, it could be somebody just cutting you off in traffic. It could, because in your 3D, or if you have a dream, you can tell your consciousness, to work some of this stuff out in dreams, and you can. You just have to be aware of the emotion. You have to get down to the emotion, because you can't do any of this without emotion. You can't do this with 100% just brain power and quantum mechanics and bullshit anymore, because then you're not going to there's no heart, there's no frequency, there's no love energy, there's no yummy yummy goody goody, there's no manifestation power if there's no heart. So you can't just be successful by making a plan, doing a ladder, and achieving it. Actually, you can get there way fucking faster by taking a minute, being like, okay, is this really what I want? Number one, but number one, why am I reacting like this? Why am I reacting like this? You have to get down to the bottom of it, because what you understand is that it's just a mirror of something, and the other day it was daddy issues with me. It is. It's I and relationship men. I always chose men that I knew, and this is not to sound, this isn't conceited or anything, but I knew that I had more than them, because I thought that then if they dumped me or did whatever, it was like I thought I was a little bit better than them. Is it what it was? It wasn't better. I had my shit together. I took care of them, basically, is what I did. But I chose men that were lacking because I was lacking, right? So this is like the first time in the first relationship, I mean, when I have it, that I'm not, but the thing is, we're such powerful manifestors that we accidentally manifest what we don't want subconsciously, because we don't even know it's hiding in there. And this is what starionomy, and this is what this looks at. This is what we go into the depths of this, because as soon as I realize, hey, maybe I just manifested some, this is why it happened. This is why it showed up. This is why this is making me feel like this, you know, then I don't have to run. Then it's like, okay, wait a minute. That's something in me, right? So I can choose my reaction. Now, whatever anybody else's free will is what it is. I don't hold an expectation, right? Which is hard. You hold out the expectation that when they vibrate to the frequency you're truly putting out, that they'll come back in, because until then it's like sometimes our energy is so powerful it reflects them, y'all know what I mean. So what I'm telling you about your manifestations, just to like, when you make a clear intention, like I joked around the other night, but it was serious, because I'll use it as an example. I go to Vallejo, we're rolling with all these ideas. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. We could do this strain. And Camille's husband is into it. And so we've got some connections and all that. So we start manifesting, we're gonna do this strain. Well, then all of a sudden we have someone new that comes into the polo. All of a sudden I end up in the Emerald Triangle. I'm dealing like it's like you get plot. I mean, within a week of us making, just drawing out little pictures and being like, this is what we'll call it, da 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 da. Because when you get the right team together, which is what we're doing over here on the QC, because some of you need to speak it, some of us are the tongue, some of us need to feel it, some of us are the water, some of us are plant the manifestation, some of us power the manifestation. Well, we've got the team of 9 over here on the QC. Like, this is what we do. Like, we're mastering this in a manifestation way, FYI. I'm just adding that. So, whenever we decided this is what we're going to do, then all of a sudden it's like all of it starts magnetizing to us. Well, once I got there and was in the experience, and then I saw this roadblock, and it wasn't really a roadblock, but it was like this was going to be this, and this was going to be this, and because I mean I was faced with it within these different scenarios because it just started happening. Then it was like, okay, we're going to table that for a minute. It's not gone, we're gonna table it. Well, the town still thrived. I mean, it was because we had big plans to help lift the town, because it needed some new commerce, and I even left some notes on some buildings. I was like, a dance studio could go here. There was these things that we could do with the school, because I was in there talking about it, and that's how you manifest it. And even though we didn't end up going, even though we decided to table it, we got a phone call that a dance studio is coming. Someone's going to come to do yoga. All of a sudden, these places got rented out. So we brought the energy there to and people knew it. People acknowledged that's what happened. So I wanted to share that experience because then it was when we got back, it was like, no, I think no, no on that. No, no, no on that. So it became, then we started working on something new. But why I bring that up is because don't miss your manifestation coming in because it's still in matter. Meaning, because it might come in like a speeding ticket. You might meet the man of your life. He's going to give you a speeding ticket, right? That's a good analogy because it's like I want to do a yoga studio and blah 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 blah. Well, if you are a guru and if you are like badass yoga person, like different timelines, then as soon as you say that you're gonna, I'm back, I'm back. Call your friends, tell them I'm back. Y'all share this video to people. There's not a lot of channels out there that are giving the true. I mean, please, let's get everyone. I've got this all set up to build community. This ain't about me at all. We just need to get the traffic up. We get some traffic up. Y'all come over, email me, okay? If y'all like to talk about this stuff and share, then that's the point. Because when we go through these gates together as a collective, like we're going to start doing again in February, whenever you're in a group, because there's timeline things that we're all going through in different gene codes. There's going to be different days that different aspects are going to hit because of it's not going to be linear, because like January 30th is or 2020 is linked to 2002 today because it's 01222 whatever it is, right? And then everyone in the group is waking up with Boston Tea Party, Aztec, and da 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 on the brain. It's crazy because it's in the consciousness. You're linked into the collective consciousness. You don't have to do it alone anymore. That's the point. And a lot of the codes that come in, sometimes when you're getting mass Kundalini activations, a lot of the things that are coming in, you don't have to hang on to all of it. It's not the point. In fact, sometimes you have to sit down and not attach to any of it because you'll blow your brains out because it's consciousness, it's coming through you to the vine. And if you get real anxious, if you feel like you're getting too many downloads, if you feel like it's being too much, your brain's about to blow up and your body's getting hot and that type stuff, then it's happening to you right now. And you need to do some jumping jacks. You need to turn upside down, put your head upside down. You need to get your blood in your body going and shake your hands and then shut off your brain and just allow it to come through. You're not going to miss nothing. But a lot of there's so much consciousness flooding right now that a lot of it isn't necessarily meant for you to have to figure out. It's kinda like when it's coming through, if there's something that you like there, you can pick it up and hold it for a second, right? But you can't do it all. We're sharing the same consciousness. And I've had to do this many times. And in fact, I activated someone to yell at me to do it in March. So, now, though, when it comes to your manifestations, the actual manifestation, then just realize that you're going to get these weird reflectors first. It's going to seem like everything might be waging against you in a way, but you have this gut intuition to keep going. And especially as us mermaids who are coming out of the water on the spiritual thing and have been so emotionally hurt and have seen and had to live through and rebirth and get murdered. I mean, my God, it's been fucking crazy. And this whole other side of consciousness knows nothing about it. They know nothing about it because they have been existing off our pain, and it is the damn truth, but they don't even know, and that's all right? So whenever we're coming out of the emotional waters and we're like flinging that stuff out of us, no, we're not going to ever eat meat again. No, we're not ever going to do right. And the truth is, everything has to be in balance. Everything has to get back in balance. We can't have everybody on the planet stopping to eat meat. And what's wrong with meat? Like, you're going to tune in to what, if you don't want to eat it, that's fine. But sometimes if you feel like you need a salami sandwich, all of a sudden, because it's happened to me a lot. Because I never even eat processed foods, and then all of a sudden, I have to have an Italian sub and not just any Italian sub. I mean, it's gotta have, like, all of the layers, which I don't even like that shit because it makes my ankles swell up, but you know what I'm doing? I'm tuning into a timeline of information at that point in time because 'cause I'm getting data and the download of what the hell's going on in that consciousness, and whenever I eat that sandwich, it tunes my quantum bubble closer into the quantum bubble of people because I hit their frequency. It's why I still smoke this. When I leave Texas, I know I'll slow down on this and I'll slow down on the cokes again. When I'm in Texas, my vibration is so fucking high and I don't eat enough that I have to literally keep my vibration lower or else I'll spin out here. I'll get attacked too much. So because it's all energetic. And using the moons and the new moons, if you can, if and we're gonna keep talking about this, and again, email me if you wanna get on the QT, if you wanna talk about that, and then we have some channels. I'm gonna start it up again, in February, I mean, this month, once I get some new people in. And this is Find Your Tribe. We're calling it QT because I mean, it's kind of like an ascension dating site with training wheels. It's or networking or find your tribe, because it really doesn't matter how much you know when you come in to the polo group. It really doesn't, because the more you know, actually, the more you should be sharing, because then you're putting out your frequency, not just to the polo group, you're putting out your frequency to the world. Because if you're not putting it out, no one's putting out your frequency. So if you're not showing up and talking to people on the daily about this because you're trying to clear your bubble up here because you're ready to get it on, you're sick of sitting in your house fucking doing nothing, you know, you're sick of just dreaming about it, you're ready to get it going. Well, that's what we do. And that's what we talk about. And we support each other in making alpha fucking moves, man. When we're in the game over here. We're trying to show everyone else how to get in the game so that the game can get more balanced to the collective quicker. So it's not off a few of us. So everyone's conscious decision is taking hold because it's the highest conscious decision because you're reaching that highest part of that bubble. So, anyway, when you come into the polo group, what happens is you start spreading your free. Well, then naturally around you, not just in the group, it's going to happen in your 3D because then you're going to have people to talk to finally about this stuff, and you see confirmations of it 24/7. You're not crazy, and then you get into some real deep stuff, and as soon as you see it, then you consciously clear it. In the meantime, you're building your tribe, you're putting out your frequency, and then there's like level ups to it basically. But we're putting together tribes, making connections while we're assisting through these shifts. So there'll be another one that's opening this month. So if you're interested in the QC, bring it over. It's for free right now. And whenever we do charge, it's quantum entangled for your manifestations. And we power that on specific days in order to power your manifestations. It's all quantum and it's all full intent and loaded with your full consciousness. And then you also learn how to do it as we learn, because the truth is we're never going to stop learning. And this, I mean, we're never going to stop learning at this point, right? Just as much as we think we know, there's so much new coming in. This has never been done before. Human beings are so amazing. The things that are going to start happening, it's just starting. And remember that if we kept getting just lighter and lighter and lighter, if we just kept if we kept connecting higher and higher and higher, then we wouldn't have been very happy. Why? Because then we'd have no humans to play with. So, for us as beings that are used to existing, and I'm not telling people to go into a low frequency. What I'm saying is that it's going to feel like you're descending a little bit in this energy, because if you've been the high, high, high vibe, well, now it's merging, it's merging into carbon. So things are going might get not maybe it might be your kundalini, but in your reality, things might get a little shadowy. But that's just to show you what was keeping you down, because, man, we are so damn powerful, so powerful. And, you have to be shown before you're given the wand. And so the more, and when on these moons, so we've got a full moon coming up. On a full moon, you release. On a new moon, it is wide open. It's the galactic center. It's straight in that pupil. I don't quite own still yet. Still have been led here. Good. Well, go back and watch it again. Trust me. I'm sure that's I'm because it's frequency. So you're not supposed to know it all at once. Because what it does is it kind of hits your field like Swiss cheese, and then a couple of days from now you'll be like, ah, or there'll be a piece that you want to go look up. Go watch some of my older videos too. Like they're just little thing, but it's showering your energy field with high frequency information and energy, and it's lifting you up in order for you to make those conscious attachments. And then so whatever you need to keep, you will, otherwise you're getting it anyway. And just I want to thank you so much for being here, every single one of you, because I know the frequency that's going out right now. And so from me and in this time, and that means you are as badass as what you perceive you think I am, because you're me. And your frequency wouldn't be able to sustain to even listen to me. You'd be like, that crazy bitch, get her off here. That's why I'm here, to make sure that you know how powerful you are. And that's what we talk about over here. I'll see you guys. If y'all want Stariotomy meeting, hey, I've got it discount. It's like it's not even, well, it's 20% off right now. But literally, I have it set up to where you can piecemeal it together. If you just have $55, I can do the write up and not do a draw of a chart. You'll get enough. It's all written up. It tells you about the energy, what lessons, what you can do to clear it, body stuff. And I mean, because really, when you do your chart and you get your first write up, it's kind of like a psychology consult. Then it really is, the best way to utilize me is like then, and from there, but then we can go into the coaching with dimensions, all that stuff. I mean, it really is. There's so much to it that you can get into to help assist. And if you come over to the Q I do charts and stuff and look at it all the time. Or in the regular chart, $77, and then you can get a bundle right now and get them both for 123. But then it's your progress. So anyway, and then coaching is basically like a doctor's visit, a copay, you know. So check that out and let me know. And you can email me at coco@bcocochi. And then, but hey, just email me and get on the QG. All right, let's build this damn community. Is this the website you're on? I am on, it's not a website. It's Marco Polo is an app. It's a video app. It's a video chat app. And what I have done is set up a network. So basically, right now it's one channel, but you just pull up Marco Polo, and on for $22 a month, what we have is we host these different channels. These are different people in the group, and all these are different rooms. And each room, there's about 10 of them, I would say, whenever there's about 20 of us. And there's different topics. Like one of them is Akashapedia. So this is where we do like different, I'm getting information on this history thing and different downloads, things we're seeing currently changing, things that we're manifesting, 711 shadows, syncs, emotionally, what's going on. There's a channel called Woke where we wake up in the morning when we talk about our dreams, and then when we're clearing together, especially in February when this group comes in, what's going to happen is that it'll get so intertwined. It's amazing. I've done 2 cycles of this because it's all collective consciousness clearing. So what happens is you clear it so much quicker because you don't have to self-identify with it. Because whenever you see that the same thing's coming up and somebody in Australia and somebody here is seeing the same thing, and then you kind of have an idea of the energy around them because of everything else that we talk about, and then you clearly cut a cord to your ex, and then a person that is in the polo has a dream and sees that timeline being cut and describes exactly what you did, and they had a dream about it. You're like, whoa, right? And so then what happens is when these emotional triggers come up in these transits, when we're talking about them intellectually like this, then you realize you can get to the root much quicker of what it is and get through the emotion, because eventually you won't have emotion like you do now. I mean, you really do clear an energy of fear and pain within your auric field. And before that, it's not that you won't have emotion. It's not emotional, meaning you won't react to it as much, because that emotional reaction is what to whatever it is. It's what's keeping you stagnant in that timeline. Like it's Kobe Bryant. Let's talk about that for a sec. It's not about Kobe and the daughter, it's about the mom. The mom is the one who is paying the price. The mom was pregnant 5 times. She's Alexandria Genome. Her twin, oh, see, her twin. I said her twin. I've got somebody around me that has a similar birthday. Not similar, same birthday. That whole thing was set up to produce her pain, because her DNA frequency is so intertwined with she's in the Alexandria line. She's been pregnant 5 times, and this is a seed bank. A lot of the celebrities that are out there right now have been ganking codes and doing weird ass shit that we would perceive like this is what's balancing out right now. We're fixing to see what's going to happen. They have the choice to it's their choice. But that whole event was about her, like A Star Is Born. Like, there are many of us that if y the feminine, how they always controlled the feminine and how to control manifestation, all that was through control and power and with men. But also would do things in order to make us produce pain and suffering, and then they're taking that energy because it makes some of this them. That's because we're not giving them this anymore. They use their own energy. Like they love